sounds good. Well, can I ask you not to film our administrative assistant?
Absolutely not.
All right, then I'm going to have to ask you to leave the building.
No, I'm not going to be able to do that either. Hey, Two Arms fam, coming at you with more great content. Visited the Sidney, Montana Parole and Probation Office. It was a bit of a spicy encounter with these folks, but I'll let you be the judge of what happened there. I'll let you check out the content and get in them comments and let us know. As always, like, share, and subscribe. Stick around to the end. I'm going to discuss, for one, why I look like this right now. I'm also going to discuss a phone call with the supervisor that we had after this encounter. So, see you at the end. Let's see what happens.
Hi everyone, I'm your best friend, back in town again.
Hey, Two Arms fam. Here in Sidney, Montana, downtown, and the building behind me, I believe, is the county courthouse and clerk, and might have county records in it. We might go visit that next, but right now we're about to go visit the Office of Probation and Parole and see if they know how to respect our rights while we're in that public space. So let's see how it goes. Driver's services Tuesday closed. Oh, and we're here on Tuesday. So the DMV side wouldn't be closed on Tuesdays. Silence of abuse. So we got a bunch of stuff posted. I'm sorry. No, not right now. I'll let you know though. And I guess this would be the DMV side, but they're closed on Tuesdays. Montana Department of Corrections. Offenders, please, if anybody wants to pause on that to read it. Absolutely no children allowed in the office. Well, what would someone do if they had their children with them and they needed to stop by here for services? I don't know if anybody needs that. They can certainly pause on it and then scan that. Hi.
What is it that you're doing?
I'm an independent journalist, and I'm doing a little story on Sidney and just visiting publicly accessible areas and taking some video.
Okay.
Oh, and who are you?
I'm Erica.
And what's your position here, Erica?
Well, I don't really want to be on camera.
That's okay. You are a public servant.
Okay.
So you really have no privacy in public when you're a public, especially when you're a public servant. Yeah, she's in there now telling somebody that she just slammed her door on me. I don't think she realizes, like a toddler, that sound travels. Sidney Probation and Paroles. And here we are, folks. Take a look. Smile, you are on camera. And there's the reminder. They are always watching us. But yet, for some reason, when we point a camera back in their direction, they don't like it. You know. I guess the camera is the weapon of mass accountability. And they don't like it. Hi.
Can I help you?
No, not right now. What was your name?
Can I ask who you are? and why you have to-
No, I'm a private citizen, but you are a public servant if you work here, so. you should identify yourself.
All right. Well, my name's Jocelyn Neiman, and I'm with the Department of Corrections.
Okay.
I'm a probation and parole officer.
Well, thank you for identifying
Can I ask
yourself.
you what you're doing here?
I am an independent journalist doing a story on Sidney, taking video in publicly accessible areas.
All right. Sounds good. Well, can I ask you not to film our administrative assistant?
Absolutely not.
All right. Then I'm going to have to ask you to leave the building.
No, I'm not going to be able to do that either.
Oh.
What I'm doing is perfectly lawful.
Okay. Well, then
And
we
any public servant can be filmed if you want to say it that way. I'm trying to stop saying film and say recording instead.
Okay.
Because it is all digital nowadays.
Okay.
But anybody in the course of their duty as a government official or a public servant can absolutely be recorded by the public.
All right. Well, we're asking you to leave the building at this time.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Time.
Well, I'm sorry, but
Okay. Well, then we will call law enforcement and have them removed.
you don't need to, but if you wanna, I mean, that's up to you. And I'll certainly wait for them if you're gonna call them.
Okay. Well, I just ask that you leave the building. If you're not
No,
going
I'll
to
wait
leave
for
the
them.
building,
We'll
then we can wait for
absolutely
them.
call law
Okay.
enforcement.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
do that. Certainly, that you can do that. So, folks, it sounds like they want to call law enforcement for us recording in publicly accessible places. So, I guess we're going to stay here and we're going to wait for law enforcement then to come and educate these folks about what is lawful in public spaces. Guess we'll see what happens. Yeah, and certainly I'm not going to have public employees, public servants tell me to go outside and wait after they've called law enforcement. And I tell them clearly I'm going to stay here and wait for law enforcement. You're going to ask me to stand outside when it's less than 15 degrees? I don't think so. So I think it's time that they get an education that they are not our masters and we are not peasants. They are our public servants. And this is a publicly accessible facility that we, the people, are the ones who say what happens and what doesn't in our publicly available facilities. Can't stand around waiting all day, and there's a good chance that they get educated. They get educated on the phone when they make the call. And if they do get educated on the phone from dispatch or from the chief or whoever, then what they're probably going to do is just stay out of sight and wait until end of hours. But they said they were calling law enforcement, so we'll stick around and wait for law enforcement. But it looks like they're shutting lights off, and we'll see what happens in due time. Hi.
Hey,
How you doing?
good, yourself?
Oh, not bad. I didn't know you guys were closed on Tuesdays. That's actually why I came here in the first place, but I didn't know. Why are you guys closed on Tuesdays anyway? Just curiosity.
Because I go to Plentywood.
Oh, cool. Right on. So you do services for others.
I'm a one-man operation in this part of the state.
That's pretty cool. You guys travel around to help other smaller communities out.
Yep.
I like it. Thank you, sir. It's obviously not an emergency call. Look at that.
What's that?
That's a cool looking hat. I like that style. You don't see that every day.
It's the old farmer hat.
Yeah, that is cool. It just, I don't know, kind of nostalgic.
Good old
to see it.
fashioned ear flap.
Oh yeah, you got the pull down.
It's
That's
all,
cool.
all wool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But drive all the way up to, because I ride up to Plentywood in the summer, you know. I
Okay.
ride a Harley and
Right.
we like to travel up there and just get ice cream, and man, that's a ways up there.
It is.
You're really I hope they compensate you something per mile if you're driving your own vehicle or a
Uh,
state vehicle.
I've got a state vehicle.
There you
so,
go. Okay. Yeah, that's more reasonable.
Yeah. Good.
But yeah, it's good to hear that somebody does go up there to help them, because otherwise everyone in that community would have to drive all the way down.
90 miles.
Now, wait a minute though, I thought, this is Richland County, and I thought, out of Wolf Point, what's the other county that stretches?
That would be Roosevelt, and then
Yeah, yeah.
Plentywood's actually Sheridan.
So how do they come from, so it's a state thing, not county?
Exactly.
Okay. I was trying to put that together because, I'm pretty familiar with some of the law enforcement in Roosevelt, like Pat O'Connor. I don't know if you know him.
Right.
Really good dude. Love Pat. He's a good dude. And I would think I thought that was kind of up in his area, but that's even north of his county, isn't it?
It is, because it's in a whole nother county, that'd be Sheridan County up
Yeah,
there.
okay.
Lonnie Johnson, the sheriff up there, actually went to high school with him.
Oh, nice.
He keeps trying to recruit me back into law enforcement, but I don't want anything to do with it anymore.
Right. Yeah. And like I said, I travel up to Plentywood, and I know how far that is. I'm thinking, man, that's a long day for you. What, do you get like 6 hours in while you're up there, given the travel time?
It's literally only just a 4-hour station up there.
Right.
During my 4 hours there, I do almost as much work as I do in a 8-hour shift down here.
Yeah.
It is so packed, it is so hard, it's so fast.
But their community has got to appreciate you coming up there to help them out.
And they like my attitude.
Yeah.
I am not like my predecessor.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
I've got a great attitude. I want to be here for the people, to help the people.
Yeah, you certainly met me with a positive attitude. Didn't have any problem with my camera or me or.
I am a little curious what you're doing, but.
I am a independent auditor. And I do small stories, gathering content in public spaces in different towns. And today I'm working with Sidney. And I came in here, and these folks in the probation and parole said they didn't want to be recorded. And I said, I'm sorry, but you are a public employee, a public servant, and I am in a public space, and that is absolutely lawfully my right to be here and record. Well, they decided to call law enforcement, so now I'm standing here waiting for law enforcement to show up and educate them. I don't think they read the First Amendment to the Constitution, but they need an education, so I'll hang out and wait for law enforcement, and we'll have the talk.
Well, you are being recorded by their cameras, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And any citizen has that right. You have the right to free press. That's one of the 5 liberties covered under the First Amendment is the freedom of press. And in any publicly accessible space, you have the right to record.
As long as you don't go through either door, it's publicly.
Yeah,
accessible.
right. Yeah, you can't go into restricted areas, clearly.
But
You gotta be.
my only concern would be the mask.
Well, it's cold outside.
It's not cold inside.
Yeah, but there's a reason behind that. And I can't explain everything I'm doing because part of what I'm doing is investigative journalism. And if you're doing somewhat of an investigation, you can't reveal your entire purpose until you're done. A lot of times when somebody's really friendly with me like you though, like when I'm done,
Right.
I'll email you the whole content and tell you what my channel is and just not while I'm in the process of it, especially when somebody's just called law enforcement. Do you have a card with email?
I actually do not.
Because I'd be more than happy to email you and tell you more. I can't do it while I'm right here in the middle of this process.
I understand that.
But I'd be happy to email you everything you want to know if you had a card with an email on it. Or can you say an email? Because if you know what your email is, you can say it and I'll have it on camera.
I'll just give you my cell number.
Yeah,
I'll go
sure.
grab a scratch piece of paper, I'll give you my cell number, and I'll
Yeah, sure.
let you bounce me a text.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Thank you, sir.
Just bounce me a text and,
Yes, sir. Oh, sorry. It was sticky. I didn't know it.
yeah, just sticky notes. So
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your time.
bounce me a text with your,
Yeah.
I assume it's Facebook or YouTube or.
I started with YouTube. We do have other platforms that we work with, but yeah, if you want, I'll send you a copy of the video.
Just send me a link.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, because that's a lot of times what I do when I post on YouTube, because it's so hard to send a large video,
Right.
even if it's
Just-
compressed.
just
It's easier to
bounce me a
just
link.
send a link. You know what I
Just
mean?
bounce me a link.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. So you can record all this public
Yeah, I know.
space, as you know,
Yeah.
as you said. But we ask that you don't record in there because we have sensitive.
Oh yeah, anything I can see from public.
It's not a public accessible
Anything that
area.
I can see or any civilian can see from a public space can be recorded.
All
You
right.
cannot trespass the eyes,
Okay.
and neither can you trespass my camera.
Okay.
So did you guys call law enforcement and get an education?
I talked with them, and they said that you were just there. So I'm letting you know that you can be out here.
So you got an education in the First Amendment, though, that we
Sure,
do have the
yes.
right to do this?
Yes.
Okay. And I kind of figured that might happen.
Okay.
Because I actually did speak to the chief recently today.
Yeah, I know.
So I
they
figured
let
you
me
might,
know.
have a conversation with them.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, though. You shouldn't immediately be ordering members of the public out of your office as though you have any authority over a member of the public whatsoever, because you don't.
Okay.
And you've got to learn that we, the people, own this building, not you.
Okay. Well, the county actually owns this
No,
building.
that's we, the people. Who do you think pays for the county?
Okay. The thing is that we have people coming in here
Yeah. Doesn't matter.
that
No expectation of privacy in public.
we need to know who we're dealing with. We deal with violent offenders every single day.
Well, I'm not.
When you're coming in with your face covered like that, we want to know
Okay.
who you are. Because
So-
we need to know.
So this is a
that we
problem
are
for
safe.
you that I have my face covered and you'd like me to remove articles of clothing for you?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh, it sounded like what you were saying.
I'm gonna go back to my office now. You're welcome to record out here.
Right. Yeah, I can record anything that I can see from a public
Okay,
space.
well, we are closed.
No.
Yes.
Well, you might be closing your office and stopping to do business,
No,
but
we're
the office
closed.
hours of this office are not at closing time yet.
Well, we are closed
Hi.
right now, so.
Look at this cam back. What a hypocrite. Oh, by the way, that's a public record. Don't delete it. It's a crime. So, the office hours posted, folks. That is exactly what an office is open for. A public entity cannot just close their office because they don't like what a member of the public is doing. They do have publicly posted hours of business, and as long as you are within those hours of business, they cannot trespass you from the public spaces of the building. We all need to learn this, and apparently they need to learn this too. And that is part of what we do, folks, is expose corruption, but also sometimes people, they're not bad people, they just don't know any better and they need an education. They gotta learn. But we all end up learning together and knowing our rights and then getting our rights respected by those who need to also learn what our rights are. They cannot trespass the eyes, they also cannot trespass the lens. Hello? Hello? I do need service now. Hello? Hello?
Can I help you?
I would like to request service from your office now. I would like to fill out a FOIA request for the footage that that young lady just took of me on her way out because that is a public record. Anytime any public employee takes a photograph, video, or makes a record that is a public record, and I did try to warn her on her way out, it's a misdemeanor crime to delete that now.
Okay, well, she is a private citizen
It-
as well.
She works here.
She was off the clock. She's a
She
private
works here. It
citizen.
doesn't matter. She works here.
Well,
You can't just say, oh, well, I was off the clock. You're still a public employee and she made a record. So are you denying me FOIA?
so you can contact the Department of Corrections because we
Oh,
don't have
no.
that form.
Oh, no.
We don't have that form here in this
You don't
office.
need the form, a blank
So-
sheet. Matter of fact, I can give it to you verbally and I'm documenting it that I have given it to you verbally. State law says that you have to receive it at any government facility. So folks, it looks like they are going to deny us services here and not allow us to submit a FOIA request for a public document. So we will go stop by law enforcement's offices again and then we'll go put in a FOIA request there for that document. And I just heard someone else give that young lady very, very ill advice in saying, just don't deal with it. But I don't think that they realize that they're actually breaking state law right now, which is a misdemeanor crime, and it will result in, at minimum, an investigation of these offices. But let's hope that we get an education without anyone having criminal charges or losing their job. That would not be cool. I have no interest in harming someone's career like that or having them charged with things because they're committing crimes against the public. Good thing I have my camera sitting there, huh? Actually, what I can do is just back off a little bit. Hi.
Here is our supervisor's number.
Oh, that's great. But I mean,
So-
you're still denying this service to the public when we're requesting a FOIA request.
I'm sorry.
And-
I'm sure we have a form,
State law
but
says
I
that
don't
you
have
can.
it right now.
You don't need
so
a
I'm
form.
sorry.
I've already informed you, so you are duly informed that you don't need a form. You just need a blank piece of paper, and I can even give it
Okay.
to you orally.
Well, I'm not a supervisor.
You don't
I
need
know
to
how
be.
to deal with this. That's, I'm just,
State
if
law.
you want to
I'm
talk
I'm
about it,
honestly trying to educate you if you would listen, because you don't
I'm
know
just-
FOIA law, obviously.
I'm just letting you know that that's our supervisor. We have
Okay.
some stuff to do.
It is a
You can report out
crime.
here.
It is a crime to deny the public services.
I'm sorry.
You know that, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, they're in there discussing now that I have no right. Which they're absolutely 100% wrong. Absolutely 100% wrong. You absolutely do not have to be on parole or probation to have rights in a public space with a public servant and an public entity. We, the people, always have our rights maintained in any public entity, government controlled. We, the people, own the building and pay the servants who work here. So unfortunately though, there's a young lady back there that I can hear yammering on and giving very, very ill advice to the other young lady who has come out here to speak to us a few times. And I honestly get the feeling that the young lady who has come out here to talk to us a couple of times would probably do her job better if she did not have that other person in her ear giving her very, very ill advice. Clearly that person is not familiar with the law, and obviously this is what we do. And we are very familiar with those laws and know what they are. And we're not asking anything that's imposing. We're not asking anything that would do harm to anyone. We're not even asking anything that would be degrading to anyone. We're simply asking for a FOIA request so that we can get public records. You know, and it seems odd to me that someone is so upset by the fact that we have a camera and that we are not revealing our identity to them openly, that they get, even though we're polite, and they've even come to the door and they have seen that, you know, yeah, we may have a disagreement going on. There's certainly nothing hostile or violent or anything like that. And our public servants need to recognize, learn, and come to the understanding that any member of the public does have the right to do something. Even if they're not accustomed to doing it and they don't do it on a daily basis, that doesn't mean we don't have the right to. Freedom is scary. Buckle up, Buttercup. This is the way it works. They're not used to that. They're used to being everyone's authority, and they don't understand that we, the people, the community around them, is actually their authority. We own this building. We pay all of their salaries. We pay every penny for everything involved here, every piece of paper, their uniforms, their vehicles they drive every day. Folks, that is our money. That is our tax dollars that is paying for that, and we, the people, own this facility. We're the bosses here. We are not the peasants. They are not our masters. We are the bosses here, and this is what we've got to learn. And the truth is, when our public employees behave the way they should and they assist us, we show them respect. The word servant is not, it's not an insult. It's simply an identification of the fact that you serve the public, and you should be proud of that if you're doing it correctly. But when you want to be an authoritarian and you don't recognize we the people as your boss, then you should be ashamed of being called a servant. That's the only time you should be ashamed. And apparently these folks don't know and understand who's in charge here. They are not. We are.
Chief, mate, what do you want to do tonight? The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
Hopefully, through our social media platforms and this grassroots movement of exposing this type of tyranny, because that's exactly what it is, folks. This is tyranny at its finest, or its worst, depending on how you want to look at it. That's tyranny. These are government officials that work for us, and they should be providing the services, not trying to tell us to get out of our buildings, not trying to tell us that we can't record or hold them accountable in our buildings. They point cameras at us all day, every day, and they're wearing body cams, and they have cameras in every publicly accessible area. But yet at the same time, they get mad if you point a camera back at them. How dare I not openly identify myself to them? I don't have to. I am a private citizen. I have the right to maintain my privacy. That's called the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution. Any man or woman wearing any form of a badge, period, in law enforcement in this entire country has sworn that oath to that Constitution, yet many of them don't even know what the Bill of Rights is. All right, folks, we're going to go outside and take a little walk, and that will conclude it.
Now they're gonna close the blinds, right? They're gonna close the blinds. It says state owned is for sure that the vehicle that they use, and apparently as probation and parole, I don't know if we can see in there. Let's see if I can get the right angle. But apparently this is set up similar to law enforcement, and based on that antenna, they may have communications amongst law enforcement. Obviously it's set up for transport because it has a cage between the front seats and the back seat if they were transporting a prisoner or whatever. Probation, parole, parking only. So anyways, as I was saying, this is a state vehicle here, and honestly, based on Plain View Act, you could look into any vehicle you want that's parked in a public space. However, this white Dodge Ram over here seems to be somebody trying to keep an eye and an ear out about us. I'm curious. But that truck just had the door open as if they were listening to what we were saying, and then when we turned around kind of in their direction, all of a sudden shut the door. So that vehicle is at minimum operated or occupied ×1, if not 2. I can't see clearly from here. But I have a feeling that that is someone who's trying to hang around and figure out who I am, or watch what vehicle I get into, which they're a knucklehead, because I'm already 2 steps ahead of that too, Two Arms fam. Don't worry. What we are going to do is check out this vehicle just a little bit closer. That is a beautiful building though, is it not? Look at this building. I wonder what the age of it is. It is gorgeous, and as it's getting darker near sunset, this vehicle or this building just looks gorgeous. How you doing?
How's it going?
Not bad. How you doing?
Not bad. First Amendment auditor?
Well, a constitutional auditor, but it has to start with the First Amendment, you know, because you got to record what you're doing.
Mike Swenson.
Paul, nice to meet you. And are you an employee of the state government?
No.
Oh, okay. I just saw the tags. I thought maybe you were.
Hospital.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just looking at this building. I just finished talking to these folks in parole and probation over here and getting ready to take off. But man, that building is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like, and as the sun's going down, that's what I was just saying to my audience on here. I was like, man, it looks even better at twilight like this with the lights on it and everything.
What's the name of your
What's that?
What's the name of your company?
I don't tell anybody while I'm still operating.
I mean, I know what you're doing. I watch.
Well, yeah.
I'm not saying guys like you don't. I watch First Amendment auditors.
Yeah,
on
Long
YouTube.
Island Audit.
Yep.
Come on, Amagansett Press,
Yep.
SJVT.
I've
Those
never
are the
seen
big
that
dogs.
One. I've just seen Amagansett. And,
San Joaquin Valley Transparency, the SJV. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy actually, he's really cool because he's rotated. He's got like 600 something thousand followers, and he has rotated to helping promote smaller channels to bring us together as a community, because some people started to kind of argue about, well, your channel's doing something my channel did. He's like, no, let's stay together here, people, as a community. And I like that guy a lot. He was live today, actually, working on border patrol story. But anyways, hey, nice to meet you,
yeah,
man.
you too. What was your name again?
Paul.
Mike.
But if you got an email or something that you can just say, and I'll email you a copy of my video from today if you want it.
I can write it down for you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't mind after I'm done working, letting people know. Man, that is a beautiful. Oh, do you know what year this building was built by chance?
Boy, I don't know, man.
Man, that thing could be a backdrop in a movie. It looks so nice. Hey, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
All right,
man.
yeah, give me a day or two.
All right, yeah.
Because
no.
you got to edit and
Yeah, no, that's-
overlays and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and then I'll put it together and I'll email it to you.
Alrighty.
Or I'll email you the link to this video on my YouTube channel. Then you'll have my YouTube channel,
Okay.
and
I'm sorry, I'm horrible with names. What was
Paul.
it? Paul. Okay.
Paul, like Paul Revere.
Okay, sounds good.
You have a good one, buddy.
You too, man.
And when you see my channel name, you'll know why I say Paul Revere.
Hey, Two Arms fam, thanks for sticking around to the end. Glad to see you made it here. And as promised, I was going to discuss, A, why I look like this today, because those of you who are following along know I don't usually do this in studio. And B, the phone call that I made after this interaction to this office's supervisor. So the reason I'm wearing this is to show you what those folks are seeing when they encounter me. As a matter of fact, this is also what they see. So this is what you're seeing when you are seeing me and they're looking at me. And I've had many people ask, why the mask? Well, again, for those of you following along, you know that recently we've had -degree temperature. That's actually why I first put this on. I've been wearing SA face shields. I like them. I'm not promoting them. They haven't paid me or nothing. I like SA face shields. I probably have at least 7 or 8 of them. And when it's cold, they're thin enough that they're not offensive on the face when you do have to go inside, and you can leave them in place. And then when you go back outside, they really do help keep the heat in on your face. But anyways, I digress. When I go inside of a building, one of the thoughts, well, I should say a couple of the thoughts that crossed my mind about leaving it on is, A, I'm not doing this just to represent me and my rights. We are doing this to represent our rights. So being just anonymous John Doe citizen is actually a good thing. It's a good part of the encounter, that it's not about me. It could be me, it could be you, it could be anybody. It could be our sister, our mother, our brother, our uncle. It doesn't matter. We're all we the people. So who I am has nothing to do with the Constitution applying to all of us as law-abiding citizens. So that's part of it. Also, sometimes we all know from the thousands or maybe even millions of videos out there now that involves police encounters, or also public servant encounters, other, DMV, parole, probation, post office. and they gotta know who you are, and they'll use facial recognition, and they're actually spending our tax dollars to use facial recognition. And you don't want your name ending up in a fusion center that will cause you to be put on a no-fly list either. So, but we're not secreting our identity for the sake of we have anything to hide, but that's kind of how they like to weaponize it against us. That is not the case at all whatsoever. I go around without a mask on most of my videos, probably 80% of them, I would say. I didn't have a mask on until just recently. But I did notice how they don't like that. But, you know, there is no expectation of privacy in public. So if you want to maintain your Fourth Amendment right of your identity in public, you have to wear something to conceal your identity to some degree. And you're just maintaining your right. As long as you're not doing anything criminal or doing anything wrong, there is absolutely nothing wrong. If you want to show up somewhere in a pink tutu and a leotard, you can do it. I don't recommend it. It's not a recommendation. That might alarm some people, but it's still not unlawful. It's not breaking any laws, and you have the right to do that if you want to. You know, maybe at Halloween you dress up in something and somebody says, why are you coming here? Well, you know what? It doesn't matter if it's Halloween or not. I'm a free American. Freedom is scary. Buckle up, Buttercup. And the phone call that I made to the supervisor of these folks in this particular probation and parole office, it was a fairly pleasant one, a bit of resistance. But she was unsure of how the laws worked in this. She was also unsure of FOIA, but we talked about it. I explained to her she was willing to receive my FOIA request even over the phone. But we'll see where that goes, and I will post another video if I can, or at least a recording if she'll, you know, I got to get her permission. It is Montana. Montana is a two-party state. So if you want to record something in a conversation like on the phone, you have to have consent from both parties. So I would have to say I'm recording this in order to record it. And that is why I didn't record the conversation that I was having with her, or, well, whether I recorded it or not, I can't publicly release it without her direct consent because it is a two-party state. If anybody'd like to look those laws up and, you know, double check what I know as the law in Montana, that's awesome. Don't take my word for it. Don't take anybody's word for it. Definitely look up laws. We're here to get educated. Education, not instigation. If you have any more questions, please feel free to jump in the comments and ask those. And then not only me and all Two Arms fam can try and bring you some answers. And maybe we can all learn something together. And I don't mind constructive criticism. I don't mind even a healthy, productive debate, new information being brought to the table. I am not infallible, folks. Neither are you. None of us are. I will make mistakes. I don't mind correcting the mistakes I make. Let's do it. We're here to learn. Let's learn together, folks. Anyways, another great day out there with Two Arms fam, gathering this content, spreading the love and education. To quote another auditor, education for fun and for free. Anyways, all right, Two Arms fam. Hope you enjoyed this content as much as we did producing it. And we'll see you on the next one. Stay safe out there, folks.
Hi everyone, I'm your best friend, back in town again.